hip abductor
Hmm.
workouts, and I'm like, I'm almost at 200. I'm like, I could stay on a dragon.
The best part is when like a dude comes up and they're just like, these little baby weights. I'm like, put that down. If I can do this, you can do this, sir.
Oh, I totally have that like I loved anybody but or anyone but you because I totally stole the phrase hot girl fit. There are dudes at the gym that are hot girl fit and I can outbench them. I'm like, oh, let me crush you with my legs. But
I'm not gonna
I,
lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like now when I'm working out and I'm running, I'm like, because I've got main character energy while I'm running it now. Yep, exactly.
yep,
Yeah.
that's how I feel doing the stairs. Like I started doing the stairs and I just started at like 5 minutes every single time I went into the gym for the first week. And then the second week has been 10 minutes. And then the other day I was on it for like 20 minutes. And it's like all of a sudden I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna do without like 10,000 steps. And then I'm like,
When
nope. I get to like 90 and I'm like, this is a lot.
10,000 is insane. I know we're not talking about that book today, but like I definitely was working out. It'll be like Olivia, Eileen, and I, and I'm like, we are the Valkyries. We're working out. We're so strong. But no, yeah, it's tough. It's tough being this fit.
Well,
I know.
sadly, we're not talking about ACOTAR. We're talking about Fourth Wing today.
Kayla's got her book sitting
Yay.
and waiting.
I I
Yay.
was trying to find my favorite quote and I can't find it. And it's like I'm like I know I'm close, but just can't nail it, and
We
it's
can give
driving
you a
me
sec to
bonkers.
find it. You
All
have
right.
time.
Hello, girl. What page are you on?
You ready? Let's get hyped. Woohoo!
All
Here we
right.
go. Okay. Welcome to Girl, What Page You On? We are your hosts, Ashley Speed Reader Parr. We are Kiki, Kayla, the magnificent historian Collins. We are Sam, here for the spice, Shariah.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
we are so excited to be talking today about Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Here it is. We are going to do a whole book, and this isn't going to be our usual, but we're going to do a whole book review on Fourth Wing, because Onyx Storm, book 3 of the series, is coming out in just a little over 2 weeks now, like 10 days. It's 10
Which
days away, ladies. How are we feeling about this?
so spoilers will be happening during this. So if you have not read the book, please pause, come back, and join us as you're reading along.
Fourth Wing follows Violet Sorrengail, a frail but brilliant young woman forced to join the brutal Riders Quadrant at Basgiath War College. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kayla will have
As
an
Gaia.
intro. Thank
That's
you. Thank you.
Gaia.
Gaia.
Thank you to the audio book listeners for helping me with that. Basgiath War College, where aspiring dragon riders train to bond with dragons and fight in a looming war. The story is filled with deadly challenges, political intrigue, romance, and, of course, dragons. My favorite part of the entire book. Um, okay, so some key characters that we should discuss, like just bring up, right? Ash brought them up. We have Violet. Oh, do you guys hear the dog howling in the background?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. This dog just howled in the background. It's so sad. Puppy. Okay, sorry for the sorry for the tangent. Okay, so Violet. Violet is our protagonist. And does anyone know what she has like a real, like it's a real life disease. I just can't remember the name of it. Do y'all know? Do y'all remember?
She
Osteoporosis.
It's something like that. Like she is like really fragile
It reminds like
yeah.
bones.
yeah, like her like how easily she's broken and stuff. It reminds me of osteoporosis.
Is like,
Like
Very
weak
yeah.
bones.
Yeah, she has really brittle bones. Um, but she's super physically weak, but she's brilliant. So she was trained, she was always reading, like she's just a brilliant young woman. We have Zayden Rierson or Ryerson if you
Ryerson.
No, no,
Ryerson.
no, it's Rierson. Like
It's
that's what it is in my
Ryerson.
brain, so that's what it is. Change to proof.
Don't-
Discussion closed. He's this broody, he's a shadow daddy. Like he's brooding, he's
He's
the
Azrael.
enemies to lovers, the enemies to lovers, the main male character. And he is the wing leader of the riders in the college. So they're broken up by segments. He's the leader of this one section or wing.
Fourth wing.
The fourth wing, right? He has a dark past. So his dad led a rebellion in Navarre. And so he's got like the scarlet letter on him. Like he is son of a rebellion leader. He's bad news bears. We
Hmm.
have Dane Atos. Dane is Violet's like childhood best friend. He is we all have one. We all have one. We all have a best friend from school, who we grew up with, who we had a little crush on, but it was a will they, won't they situation. That is Dane Atos. General Lila Sorrengail is Violet's mom. Mama Sorrengail, General Sorrengail. She is she's
Emotionally
kind of a cold,
unavailable.
emotionally unavailable. Good way to put it. Calculating, emotionally unavailable. And she forces Violet to join the Riders Quadrant instead of going and following the path of being a scribe. So now she's in this super, super dangerous situation. She's going to have
Mhm.
to face some dragons and face some people like Xaden who want to kill her. And then we will get into the dragons a little later on, or should we introduce them now?
I guess we can introduce now since we're talking about all the main
Okay.
characters. So then we have Taryn, who is the second most powerful dragon. There's only two black dragons in Navarre. One is one of the leaders of the country. The other one will eventually become Violet's dragon. And then in addition to that, we have Sigale, who is Zayden's dragon, who is actually like their mates. So they are going to be connected in more ways than one. And then little
But
no, no one. And then we have little gorgeous glimmering and Darna, who kind of really I feel like she brings it all home. If it wasn't for her and effing Jack Barlow, yeet him off the parapet next time. Um, but if it's not for Indarna, then I honestly doubt we would have the story that we do. That's
Mhm.
just how I feel. Like she's the glue that comes in.
Exactly. So we start off We start off with Violet being forced into the Riders Quadrant. Again, super, super dangerous. Um, and they have to do all these crazy things. They have to walk across the parapet. They have to do a gauntlet. They have to prepare themselves to ride dragons. And then we have Zaddy Daddy Zayden. I need to talk about him. We need to talk about him now. We talked about Dane. We need to talk about Zayden. Anyone have a first impression on Zayden? Was he a slow burn for you all, or was he just like, were you just like, yep, you're my guy? Like, do you remember your first thoughts on him?
He was definitely like, oh yeah, like as soon as she like saw him and like the description she gives of him, I was like, oh yeah, you'll be trucking together before we even get halfway through the book. Which shockingly was not. Like they definitely held off a little longer than I expected him. Um, but like instant chemistry, and I wonder now knowing that Taryn and Sigale are bond like mates. Does that have anything to do with it or like but I see yeah, it's all these like what ifs kind of thing.
Right, right.
Ash.
I mean, I just like you read, you come off of like Akatar and then you go into this, you're like, it's for sand. It's for sand riding a dragon.
That's very true.
like
He's
down
so
to the shadows,
broody.
down to the shadows, which I mean, they're very different books, but I think everybody has the major crush of bad boy who, would burn the world for you kind of thing. That's the vibe
Yeah.
he gives,
The third turns in my direction, and my heart simply stops. He's tall, with wind-blown black hair and dark brows. The line of his jaw is strong and covered by warm, tawny skin and dark stubble, and when he folds his arms across his torso, the muscles in his chest and arms ripple, moving in a way that makes me swallow. And his eyes with the shade of gold flecks onyx, the contrast is startling, jaw-dropping even. Everything about him is his features are so harsh that they look carved, and yet they're astonishingly perfect, like an artist working a lifetime sculpting him, and at least a year of that was spent on his mouth. Ah!
Okay, so that's a super, super long description of a guy, but I never caught that she describes his eyes as on
Instantly.
well, his eyes are onyx.
I
And
know,
the
we
next
know the
book
name of the
is
next book.
Onyx Storm. So are we
Yes, we
talking
will
about his
see.
eyes? Sorry. I
I don't
know.
know. Zayden's a baddie. Zayden's a baddie. Zayden can get it. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Don't listen to that. So let's just we talked about bonding with dragons. We know that Violet bonds, like you said, the most powerful dragon, right, on the continent, Tarn. And he wasn't supposed to bond this threshing. So do you guys have any like predictions on why he decided? Or do we kind of find out why he decided because he like saved Andarna, but was that the only reason?
No,
His scale? Yeah.
he says that he chose her because she was the smartest person
Mm-mm.
he'd
Mm-hmm.
ever met.
Yeah.
He said that he chose her because she was the smartest person. He didn't want a brawny rider. He wanted a rider with brains.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and that's kind of like the balancing of skills, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
brawn, but your brawn is useless if you don't have a brain to use it.
Mhm.
That's very true. That's very true. And especially in Violet's case, like we were saying, like she doesn't have brawn. She only has brains, which is all she can. So speaking of brains and brawn, because I'm just saying, like our guy Zayden has it all. Like he has it all. If Rebecca Yaros kills Zayden, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I feel like everybody who's read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and eventually obviously Onyx Storm. If she This is a message to Rebecca. If you kill off Zayden, I think you're gonna have
The world's
just
coming for you.
yes. Everybody is just gonna stop right there, end page, return book, back to wherever they got
Welcome
it.
to the
Exactly.
revolution.
Welcome to
Yeah.
the revolution. Yes, exactly.
In the words of Brennan Thorngale.
Exactly, exactly. So we do find out at the beginning that Violet's dad and brother have both passed in the aforementioned rebellion, right? So there
Yeah.
was a rebellion on the continent of Navarre. Essentially, the dragons that they have this kind of like powerful like source power essentially for the shields that block everything else out of the rest of the continent. So the shields only go so far. Everything outside of that is called paromial, right? Is that true? Okay.
Yeah.
And then everything within the shield is Navarre. So obviously the people outside in paromial are trying to either break in or that's kind of like the message that they're playing to everyone. Like they're bad, they were the rebellion, but they just want to be protected by the wards that the dragons allow them to have. And so we find out very early. I didn't realize actually, this is really early. We find out that we know Zayden's dad was the rebellion leader, but we also find out very early that he is also trying to stir up that same rebellion again. So Violet is
What?
literally, her mom is literally the leader of, she's a general. She's the general Navarre of Navarre. And so this puts them at quite polar opposites. So they have this like forced proximity relationship. As a trope in a book, how do you all feel about that? Like the forced, like when we think about like Rhysand and Feyre, and like now Xaden and Violet, like they're forced to be together because of their dragons.
I
Do we
feel
like it?
so. I feel like they're a totally different relationship compared to like Farah and Rusan because in the end, Farah and Rusan had a friendship. It was like at first it was like kind of a hostile, but became friends. And then their relationship grew. Where with Xaden and Violet, it's literally she knows he wants to kill her. And she I think there's a part in the book where she said that if it came to it, she wouldn't hesitate to kill him.
Hmm.
Um, just because of her brother. But it's also it's like that you kill someone, I'll kill someone you love, and then it's like the ripple effects or whatever. There's some term for it, but it's very much similar to that. But then something just hits him like she realizes that he doesn't want to kill her. Like he starts like helping her and I think that that pivotal moment for them to stop, like, oh my God, they're gonna kill it, like he's gonna kill me, was, and I have this down as a note, like Zayden's relationship with the other marked or the other rebellion relic students that are there, that they all kind of meet together in the woods, and Violet just happens to be there.
Just be hiding in a
I,
tree, casual,
hiding
just
in a
real
tree.
casual vibe.
And to quote the words of Nicholas Shariah, um, girl be sneaking on a G or something like that. What was it? Oh,
Girl be sneaking up on a
a
G.
G, yeah.
She was
Um,
sneaking.
she was sneaking. And like that, I think that that's probably the moment that their relationship changed. And like, because he didn't hurt her, he didn't kill her. He's like, just get back to like,
In
and
fact, he like used his shadows to hide her.
yeah.
In that moment, he was like, "All right, no, no, like here's the you idiot. Why are you dangling your head out the tree? We can all see you."
hmm So there's some pull there where obviously
Hmm.
he figures out early on that he's like, I'm not gonna kill her. Like there's something in him where he's like, I don't trust her. It's the same thing that she has for him. I don't trust you, but there's something about you that's pulling me. And so like I
Right.
think that that spurs them on. It's like so.
So as like Xaden gets more helpful toward Violet in the book, Dane Atos kind of does the opposite. So he's the first person we really see when she gets across the parapet, when she gets like officially accepted into Basgiath, right?
Mhm.
She meets Rhiannon ahead of time, but when she meets Dane in here, she's like, you're different. That's like the first thing. It's like when you see someone from your school or from growing up who's changed, you're like, you are different now.
Yeah.
And she picks up on it instantly. And he basically is like, we got to get you out of here. I'll sneak you into the scribes quadrant. I will like we got to get you out of here. She's like, my mom's just gonna send me back. Like there is no hope.
Yeah.
But as Xaden gets more helpful and is like kind of believing and championing her, Dane is constantly like, avoid it, run away, protect yourself, run away. Mr. I follow the rules, Atos. Um, and I think that's just an interesting, and I think that's why so many people like hate Dane as much as like I agree with you, Ash. Like there are a lot of like qualities there where he just wants to protect his friend and he knows she's vulnerable and he knows she's weak, but you need to give her the chance to prove you wrong. So we get to see Dane getting worse and worse and worse, and we find out early, again, pretty early on, like there are no secrets in this book. Like you kind of go back and reread and you're like, "Oh my God, we were told everything at the beginning. Like none of this was a secret."
Mhm.
Dane has the power to read those memories, and he's like constantly reading her memories, I think.
Yeah.
Like if you go back, like how many times do you think he's touching her face? Like every time you see him. It's like this is weird, dude.
Or even her hand. Like he's always grabbing her hand.
Mm.
Which obviously leads to the death of one of my favorite characters. So and I know it's Ashley's as well. So like that's just, yeah, it's hard to think like that, but because he's like somebody that was supposed to be so close to her And then like he knows her. He knows how strong-willed she is, that she will get up and keep going because she used to follow him and Mira around all the time as kids, and like was always there, and like like where he was, she was. Like she clearly had no fear of stuff. Like she had the full will. And then for him to be like, you need to leave, you need to leave, you need to leave, but you can't do it, you can't do it. And then she finally kind of snaps back, being like, why are you like that? Like I
Hmm.
can do whatever I can do this.
Hmm.
And sadly it like changes their relationship.
Also, fool me once, Tamlin. Fool me once.
Yes, that's all I thought of was
Shame
like the
on you.
persona.
Fool me twice? No, no, no. Like I was not gonna get fooled by Dane.
Yeah.
He really like the whole like, oh, you're too weak. It's like she knows. She knows she's weak. She's lived this whole life
Yeah.
with this disability. Like she knows what's happening, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
you're not capable. And every time she tries to tell him, yes, I am capable, he just shuts her down. So,
Well,
it's
here's
just
my
like
here's
really
my
hard to like watch all of that and to see that. And it's just like, Dane, you're
yeah.
such an asshat. Pull your head out
I
of your
totally
ass.
I totally agree. Like he was like that, but then like I'm sitting back and like just now thinking about it of like she has done nothing to prove him wrong. Like everything he is saying, he has learned from spending what, the 15 plus years. Like he's known her since she was like
Yeah,
what, 5?
yeah,
Like
that's
she has
true.
done nothing to show that she has strength within her to overcome stuff. She's just floated by, like keep her nose in a book and away from everybody. So his view of her is that she doesn't have the drive to succeed in that. But she does.
But
You
it's
know, we
not
do
even the
see her finally
drive.
turn
Like
at
she
that.
has the drive. She has the drive. It's not about drive. It's about like he just thinks she's super weak. Like she's the
But
smartest person
yeah.
in her year that they say, right?
Oh yeah.
And but he like just doesn't it's just the fact that he's constantly saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're not enough. You're not enough. You're not enough." It's like, "Okay, bro,
But
Yeah.
chill
Well,
out.
and
You
then
trying to
yeah,
kiss
like at
me?
some point he
Get
needs
off
to
of
be
me."
like she's gotten to the point where like she's succeeding and she's
well,
actually thriving. Like that's the point where like he needed to wake up and be like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is not the same Violet I knew."
but he also,
So,
but when they were kids, they were always out playing and stuff. Like how she got those injuries, like she was not afraid to put the work in. Like she was right there with him and Mira, chasing around. Like he knew that
Climbing
she had
trees.
that drive and
yeah.
that she could like do it. Yes, there's a risk she's gonna get hurt, but hell, she could get hurt walking down the steps of the library and fall as a scribe too. Plus, scribes go to battle too. Scribes are the ones recording all of the history, which
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
comes in later in the story about like how scribes can manipulate the story as well.
Well,
Yes.
and it kind of showed like I'm not gonna we've got to wait for that conversation because that's the next one. That's the next book. But with continuing fourth wing, thoughts on the battle briefings?
That's like she's my favorite
Useless.
professor. Also, I'm gonna say the name wrong. I feel like we need Kayla to set us straight. But I say it Professor Devra.
Devereaux. Hold on.
The O or is an
She's like, let
A?
me pull up my Devra.
It's I
I
want to
think it's
say it's
Devereaux.
I
I
think
thought
it's
it was pronounced
Deborah.
Anyway,
Devereaux.
Professor
literally
D.
had a professor in college who I was just like, yes, you're amazing. This is that professor. Everyone's favorite professor is Professor Devra, who has this battle briefing class, which is like history, but like you
Yeah,
take some history and then you also are looking at like current, it's like a current events, keeping them up on because again, it's a war college, so you're keeping them up on those events, and um, she's just amazing. She has a great rapport with the students, and she's always like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And day one,
yeah.
Violet basically like smashes it out of the park.
Well, and
You
I
guys
love
remember?
that she's like she tries to at first she's like saying it underneath her breath, or she's trying to get somebody else to say it for her, and they're like, "Nope, Say it, Violet. Come on. Like, show that you are a force to be reckoned with. If you're not, like, you don't look like a force, you are the force. You're the wind waiting to come and sweep it away. Like, so I actually enjoyed battle briefing. I thought it was a great, um, like them getting briefed on current and showing how smart and how brilliant Violet is as a
Hmm.
tactician, even. I just enjoyed that. I liked battle briefs a lot.
That it's like I think it would be my favorite class.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because it's like it ties history and like being strategic. I think I would love battle brief.
I
So,
I agree. I think like I like the battle brief stuff. Listening to it because I did do audio and then like the last half of the book I read. Um, but it's to me it reads very much of like you're going in for a newscasting, but you're not getting a full story. And like they kind of point that out
Hmm.
later on in the book. They're like stuff's not adding up in the battle briefs, like when they're giving them. But I feel like this is battle brief right now. But no, it's very I like the battle brief, but I like them later on when we get into the next book. They become more I don't know what the right word is, but
yeah.
do y'all have a favorite quote from the book?
Um,
I know you have
my
to pull it
Shall
out
I
right.
get the wing leader?
That's one of the best
oh,
ones.
that's a good one.
My
Mine
That
is
is my favorite.
Violet.
violent little
Violent
thing.
little thing.
Um,
Violent little thing, aren't you?
my
Um,
my favorite, which I was literally looking for, but I can't find. Um, and it's Liam going, I could get a couple applicants for you, or I could take some applications for
Oh,
you. And Reese just like,
that's
how
my
would you
next.
do that? Or recommendations. I could get some recommendations for you. How do you plan to do that? And just like Violet and her looking at him like, I think.
We're gonna get to Liam, but what are so what comes in October?
threshing.
Thrashing.
October
Threshing.
1st is threshing.
October 1st is threshing. So, for those who haven't read the books but are watching this just to get info on the books, threshing is when your dragon picks you. And pretty much they all get all the applicants. So, it's the first years and then second years who did not get chosen the year before, are getting thrown into this area. And it's packed full of dragons, and the dragons choose the riders. And I think it was really interesting that um, different dragons had different qualities. Like green dragons were very wise and that like kind of stuff. I thought that was super interesting. I really liked it. And um, I thought it was like, I really loved threshing.
Rebecca
Um,
Yaros does a really good job with the world building for sure. I
yeah.
think like you're saying, like with Battle Brief and then with threshing and then Professor Kaori's class, right? That's another
Yeah.
one on Dragonkind. So Violet's going through all these different classes, like she's in a college and she's in a war college. So I really love Professor Kaori's class. I changed my mind. Battle Brief would not be my favorite class. The dragon class would be my favorite class because what are we here for if not for the dragons? Um, and I really are just like so fascinating finding out all this information. Like the black dragons are mysterious, but they're really powerful, and there's only one on the continent. There's two on the continent, one of which is not going to bond. And they have this really weird, like she sets it up having this weird dynamic of only a limited number of dragons, which makes the cadets all want to literally kill each
And
other.
kill each other for it. Yeah.
Hmm. And so
And
we have like, mhm.
I thought it was
Which
interesting, even after threshing and your dragon chooses you, you can still get murked because that's an opening for another cadet. I
Hmm.
thought that was that you and your dragon aren't bonded until your signet appears, which is another like side thing. But threshing for Violet, we see Zayden show up and he's just kind of watching her, and it's totally weird because there's no other third years standing around watching. And we get a glimpse of
Jack
Segal,
Barlow.
and yeah, Jack's a peach. But yeah, Jack is like pretty much gunning for Violet all the time because he views her as weak.
Well, she almost cut his balls off
And
after crossing parapet.
yeah, as she should. Honestly, we need to rewind. That was probably one of the boss moments of Violet Sorrengail. Can we just talk about that? Like coming off
Yeah.
parapet and turn around and holding a knife to his junk, like, let's go, bitch. You haven't crossed yet. You haven't entered. Let's go. Like, I kind of boss girl.
Yeah, it's during threshing when she stops looking for her dragon when she hears Jack and the two other guys decide to go after who we find out later is Indarna, but the little gold dragon. Um, and so they decide to go after her. And Violet's like, I can't stand for that. She like cuts across the forest trying to get to the little gold dragon, and she gets there and she's like, shoo, shoo, go, go, go. And then Jack comes across and she's like, why couldn't you leave? And then Andarna's just like, hi,
She's like, hello.
hello.
And
And
she's
then
like, what are you little things?
and she's like, she's little, like I mean, she would fit in this room. Like that's how they describe her, is that she is small.
Yeah.
I
Um,
would imagine her the size of like a Great Dane.
yeah, that's how
Yeah.
like I maybe a small elephant,
I was
like
thinking like
Okay, like a
small
baby
elephant.
elephant.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
But she
juvenile.
is so literally like protect Andarna, save her at all costs. Like
Yeah.
that is my like do not fuck with
And
Andarna.
yeah,
She's
like
my little baby. She's my little baby.
Yeah.
and like in the midst of this, we see Zayden leaning against a tree, Seagal's around, and and here's Violet trying to help this little gold dragon, and then boom, Big Daddy shows up. Not actual daddy, but we
So
get go
so
ahead.
she no, but she remember like he didn't show up right away.
Yeah.
Right? So she's like protecting this little gold dragon. She like yelling like shoo, shoo,
Shoot,
go
shoot.
away. Get out of here. And the dragon's like, "Huh? Like I don't get it. What do you want?" And then Jack Barlow and his crew come along and Violet starts just kicking ass. Like she's kicking ass and then gets to a point where doesn't she like throw a dagger? That's like her big thing is she can't like
Yeah,
physically
she's
outpower
very
people,
accurate.
but she's super accurate with knife throwing. So she like scares Barlow away. He runs away, and I think this is important. That's why I stopped it because I think it's important that Jack freaking runs away from her,
Yeah.
Mhm. And left
not
the two guys
from
to
Because
go
when he
after
doesn't
her.
have the yeah.
yes, the other two are going after her. And then basically from there, like things get a little more serious and they might kill her. Um, and she looks over at the gold dragon at Andarna and is like, "All right, you got to use your claws." And she looks down, she's like, "Or paws? Like a puppy? Like she's
Yeah,
just
she
a
looked at it with
puppy.
paws.
She's a
Like
little
she's
puppy
like
dog."
looking at this dragon like I have no idea. Like you are not covered in class, yo. Like we know nothing about feather tails, which is what she
Yeah.
is at the time.
And they've never seen a gold
Gold
dragon.
dragon.
So Jack's trying to kill her because I think she's weak. But we later find out. Do we find out in this book?
So we find out, but it's after threshing and her being named.
Yeah, we
And it's
find out.
because yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
find
we
out
don't
that
find
Andarna's.
anything substantial about Indarna until book 2, so let's not spoil that one.
Okay.
But yeah, like we have so Taryn enters the picture and
Big
totally
Daddy Darren.
roasts some Jack crony kebabs for us. And we find out Taryn is the second biggest dragon on the continent, and he is
Powerful.
huge, black, beautiful, just absolute menace.
Careful. What are you talking about, Ashley?
Oh goodness. But he is just this absolute force to be reckoned with. And part of like the studies is the dragon culture, the dragons, everything pertaining to them is the Empyrean, right? So Violet, Taryn's like, you're with me now, and flies her to the landing strip. And she gets off, and
Well, I
everybody's
think
all like, who is this little scrawny girl coming up here with this giant butt dragon?
didn't she like she tried to hold on, but then she
Yeah.
fell off and he grabs her with a claw and then like before they land, he like tosses her up onto him because he's like,
Yes.
We're not landing like that. And like
Like,
quick
I'm
tosses her
not
up
getting
there.
like,
And then he's
yeah.
like slide down. Um and
Yes.
Well, he like straightens his leg to let her slide down so that she doesn't fall to the ground. And then all the other dragons are like scoffing, and he's
Yeah.
just like, ignore them.
Well, did we talk about the obstacle course? Because the obstacle course, the end of it was designed for these riders in training before they go into threshing, these riders in training to mount a dragon, which we
yeah, the
find out
last
like I don't even like trying to envision it. I don't know if I could have done it.
I think I would have done exactly what
I think I would have
Violet
cheated.
did.
I wouldn't say it was cheating. It was thinking outside the box. You have to be creative. Like, if you want to succeed in life and death, there are no rules.
I
Like, that's my view of like, if you're in a fight for your life, you are using everything you have to keep yourself alive. So I
so
think she did exactly what she needed to do.
So we need to describe what that is real quick. So the obstacle course that we're talking about is literally a cliffside with all these different um obstacles that you have to go through. Like there's rolling
Like
logs that are protruding
mechanisms and stuff. Yeah.
from the thing. And the last part of the thing is literally just like kind of like a half pipe is what I imagined, like off the side of the wall. But it's like almost vertical, like it almost curves up vertical, and you have to like run and get over that. And what Violet does is she runs and so you're only allowed to use stuff that was like a part of you when you arrived or on your person when you arrived. And Mira, luckily enough, had given her a dagger, so that was technically a part of her. Because she definitely, after she does this maneuver, which is she runs up, she puts her knife in the side of the ramp, and then like thrusts herself up over the rest of the way so she makes it. And they said try a couple people were like, "Oh well, that's cheating. Like she can't do that." But she put like in the annex it said that like most like what's on your
Whatever
person when
you
you
are
arrive is
wearing is a
part of your
part of you.
person.
Yep.
So yeah.
I
So
think that's
that
one of the biggest, like, that's really Violet's strength. She knows that her brain is her strength. She doesn't really have the physical strength. And
Yeah.
so she really like uses her wits, and she knows the codex. So the codex is what the riders abide by, right? So what they follow to a T, and it's kind of like here are just the rules, but also it's weird because the riders don't follow the same set of rules as anyone else. So the scribes and the infantry, like they're not following the same set
Yeah.
of rules. And so Violet like really knows this codex inside and out. Remember, like she was trained to be a scribe. When she gets nervous, she repeats history. When
Yeah.
when she doesn't know what to do, she always goes to the books. And that's
Yeah.
constantly, time and time again, what we find that she is really overcoming with is she's
Mhm.
making up for the physical, and she's really using her brain. And she like they came and they were like, you failed the gauntlet. And she was like, nope, and she recites the exact spot in the codex. And that really is Violet's strength this whole entire time is her brain. And Taryn, time and time again, reminds us that, right? She's like,
Yeah.
I'm
That's why
gonna
he
hold you
chose her.
back. I'm
Yep.
gonna hold you back. You shouldn't, like, he has to physically, like, he uses his lesser magic to hold her on to him because, and then
Yeah.
then then there's a saddle, but which is really cute. But she's constantly apologizing for being fragile, and he's constantly reminding her that how powerful she is because of her brain. And that is like
Yeah.
one of my favorite tropes of this whole book.
Yes. is that, and that's it. Yeah, Taryn chose her because she was the smartest person in her class, in the entire school. He says to
And
her all the time.
and that she stuck up for Indarna, which for those also that if people don't know this, Taryn is the big black dragon, which is on the cover, that guy. What all this is about. But his mate is Sagail, which is Zayden's
Her
dragon. So there's the whole interwebbed uh
relationship.
bond. So the four of them, essentially five of them, including Indarna, can hear each other's thoughts. And that's a big thing between dragons and their riders is hearing those thoughts. But yeah, Taryn says that like him and Sagail have taken Indarna pretty much as their own, and like that they look after her. Like they're very tender. Like they're surrogate parents, and they very
Yeah.
much care for
Mhm.
her. And the fact
But
that knowing that she was weak and she was injured when she took on Barlow and his
yeah,
cronies,
can
but she
we
still did it.
can we touch base on when she lands in the flight field
I love that
and
part so
gives
much.
and you know she has to give Taryn's name and it's Taryn Nanak, right?
Taranok.
Mhm.
Taranok.
Taranok. And him automatically in her head of like pronunciation could use some
Need
work,
some
but not
work.
bad. And then you hear Andarna, and you're like, hold up, what? And you turn around, and you see a beautiful gold dragon,
This
and
is
everybody's like, she's like, and Andarna, and everybody's like, hold up, what?
I literally envisioned it like Violet comes up to him and saying she's like Taranok it has bonded me, and then like in the way back of her voice it's like and then she's like
Yeah,
and
like
They're
then
like,
of
"Are
course
everybody's
you
everyone's
like
like
okay?"
confused and
hello.
being like putting stuff together and then turning around and saying, but the fact that she is the first person to be bonded by two dragons is amazing. But also the fact I find it so interesting. I really want like a side chapter or something, some conversation happening about the Empyrean. I want to know so much more. So much
Yeah.
more.
I hope
Because
we get that in Onyx Storm.
yeah, because even for them, have you there's never been two bonded dragons to one person. So for them to allow it, and I find it interesting, like, I mean, their politics are like, everybody else's. It's split. Like half of them do this, half of them believe in this. So, but because you have Taryn and Sagail, who are the two strongest dragons, one, in the area, being like, no, this is happening. Like, we either let this happen or stuff's gonna go crazy. But we do find out that in this book that Andarna is a hatchling.
Oh, I guess right. Well, she's a
Yeah.
youngling. Yeah.
Well, we find not hatchling, but yeah, she's very young. She's juvenile, I guess.
That's what
Toddler.
I was trying to say before. I wasn't sure if it happened in this book or not.
Yeah.
Like
So
if
we find out
she
that part. Um, sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
Well, and so to speed us along, but yeah, Andarna, is a hatchling. She also has the power that, so like riders can pull power, which creates their signets.
wait, start over.
Full circle.
Wait, start over. On the cover, there's a circle.
So that's an insider joke, people. Oh,
That's for Dan.
But so yeah, like dragons are super powerful. Um, and they're powerful in the sense that they give their riders signets. And signets are each determined by the rider. Like
yeah.
it's a
And
quality or a trait that is wholly them, I think is
so,
the best way to put it.
yeah. And how we discover like the one, and technically, um, and Darna doesn't give her a signet because she's so little. She accidentally gives her like all her power at one time, which is a time stopping ability of a hatchling. But and how that comes about, it was kind of surreal. Like it was very like boom, boom, boom. Um, the king has come, he's having a big ball dinner kind of thing. And Liam is the only one that went to the ball.
Liam, who's in her class, to watch after her. And Liam is like the best big brother kind of relationship. I see it as
Well,
that.
she almost wanted to sleep with him the one
Yeah.
time. Which part of me, I remember when I got to that part, I texted Sam and it had just hit, and I was like, oh my God, she sleeps with Liam. And then, like, maybe three paragraphs later, it was like, oh, it was just Taryn getting the hots on for
Sigale.
Sigale
Isabel.
and it going down the bond.
Yeah. So we see Liam and Violet get really close. Like she does, I believe, reference, some things he does reminds her of her big brother. And it makes me just like, oh, love it. She finally has, someone to rely on. And I feel like Liam does sacrifice a lot and puts himself in positions to help her a lot,
Well,
like
and
going to the
Zayden.
ball
Hmm.
and being the only marked rebellion kid at the ball. And I think like that was
And
that takes a lot
and he
when
holds his
nobody else
own
was showing
too.
up.
He holds his own too at the ball. Um, because he ends up having to like because obviously Violet's mom is there, General Sorengar's there, and so they like he doesn't like let them kind of put him in a corner. He's just like, yes, I'm here. I'm a great like he shows that he is oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that he's not just a pushover. Like he's here to fight. He's him and his dragon are here to make a difference. Like the way I wish I could have exactly found the pages. Because like what he says is very good. I love Liam. He is probably my favorite. And then knowing, so big spoiler here, people. If you haven't
Spoiler
finished the book,
alert.
do
Literally,
not close your ears, stop recording.
stop this part if you have not finished this book.
Yes.
Humongous spoiler coming up. Okay, pause.
Liam dies and his
That
dragon is killed and he dies in Violet's arms and it is so gut-wrenching. Like Liam literally, I was in love with Liam. Liam is
I
my
was too.
husband. Like the descriptions, the quirkiness, I was like, this is my husband. And like so
Yeah.
and then like hearing like that whole thing was devastating. And then
Absolutely wrecked me.
and
Yeah.
then
Liam's death was absolutely devastating.
And then knowing that the whole reason why Liam died is all because of effing Dane touching her face. And for those of you who don't know, Dane is a mind reader. So, well, in the sense of like, if he touches
He's
you,
a
he can
memory reader.
see your thoughts. And there's one
It's
moment where he touches Violet's face and steals her memories of her catching Zayden and the guys coming back from what you eventually come to know is a weapon smuggling run to help defend the borders. Um, and so Violet and majority of the marked ones and Zayden get sent to this outpost, which just happens to be the outpost that he was taking weapons to. And it's abandoned. And what eventually we all find out to be is the Venom and Wyvern attack, and a Wyvern takes out Liam's dragon. And as we just discussed, a dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without its dragon is dead. And so Violet literally held, but which was so hard. It was so hard. Held Liam as he died, knowing that there was physically nothing wrong with him. And like you can like that's gotta be so like I felt so helpless. It was like, what do you do? Like, but you can't. Like there's nothing.
Did you guys have a favorite like part of the book?
I go ahead, Ash.
the very end, actually. But it's because I kind of predicted, like, I predicted her brother was alive.
Mhm.
Like, just like reading it, I'm like, there, we don't talk about Bruno kind of situation. Means Bruno's somewhere around here. Bruno
Very
is
true.
still around and involved. So when
Yeah.
he showed
Yeah.
up, I'm like, I literally put the book down, looked at my husband, I'm like, fudging knew it. Fudging knew it.
That was
So,
like the best cliffhanger though. I was like, this is
oh,
a
I
happy
loved it.
cliffhanger. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciated the cliffhanger. And like I looked forward to the progression of relationship after
Hmm.
finding that. So that would be
Yeah.
my favorite.
I really
Did you hear
like
that?
the one of
Sorry,
the
go ahead,
dogs.
Kay.
One of the dogs must be running. Um, my favorite is still, I think when everybody really connected. And where you see the Rebellion Relic kids kind of adapting themselves into like um Rhiannon's and like Riddick and Liam and all of them getting together and kind of stuff and just seeing their friendship and but my absolute favorite is still which we talked about earlier was the favorite like my favorite line as well when they're like she's just sexually frustrated and Liam without missing a beat is like I could get some recommendations. And Rihanna's like, how would you do that? Um, and especially since Rihanna is like has somebody in her room every night. Um, so and Riddick as well.
Oh
But
my
it just like
gosh.
here, just like him, and then like her finding out that he's in the room next door, and she's like, "You can hear it." And then, I literally, when I thought that she might sleep with him, that like half,
With
literally,
Liam.
yeah, two sentences apart. I was like, "Oh my God, what about Satan?" But at the same time, like, "You go, girl."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So my favorite part is threshing. Like hands down, I absolutely loved threshing. The moment just like I wanted dragons. I wanted dragons from the beginning. I was like, how is this gonna be when we finally like get to hear the dragons? What's the interaction gonna be like? And then Taryn just being like rolling in, big bad, strong, one of the strongest dragons on the continent, making Violet the mo one of the most powerful characters in the book, right? Because of all his power. And he's just like super curmudgeon. He's so grumpy. I love their dynamic. I love her saving Darna, and that's why Taryn chose her. I love everything about the dragon. Like that's my favorite part is like the dragons, their relationship between the three of them specifically,
Yeah.
and then of course between like Sigale and Xaden as well. But really, I just love the interactions between Taryn, like, shall I get the wing leader, right?
Yeah.
He's just such a sassy dragon, and it's just so funny. But he also does a lot to help accommodate Violet too, which is really lovely, and I just love their relationship a lot.
Yeah. Taryn, I love Taryn. I love his commentary in her head.
Yes.
And like he's just kind of like that weird old like sage uncle kind of energy. Of like he knows everything that's going on. He's only going to hint at what's going on and he'll back your play, but he's going to give you a lecture in between.
Someone compared Taryn and Darna to Mr. Fredrickson and Kevin the dog. And I was like,
From
His
that's not
Up.
name
the
is
best.
not Kevin. Kevin's the bird.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
What's the
It's
from Up,
Doug.
right?
The dog
Doug
is
the dog.
Doug.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. I do know what I'm talking about.
That's really funny. I love
But
it. Like the first thing, like that Taryn, she gets, she bonds him and then she hops on his back and they have to go like fly back to the flight field and he's like, "You're making us look bad. Stop
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Stop it." It's so funny. It just like sets the tone right off the bat. Like there's really like the banter between them is so good. Is
Yes.
so good.
Yeah.
Um,
And Signet. Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about Signets. Like,
so do
so
you want to
we
explain what signets are first and why they had them?
a signet is the power that one harnesses, and each can be different. But that power comes from your dragon. And it does take time for it to come, which for Violet, it definitely comes late, or what she perceives as late. And Taryn keeps telling her not to worry about it. It'll come to you.
Hmm.
I will give you the power when you are willing, like are ready for it and everything like that. So I think that that's a big thing. And then when we finally find out, it's her against good old Jack effing Barlow and him getting his. But it's like, and I wonder if this is something I wanted to ask you all. Do you all think that signets are somehow like how it's like a an inherited thing? Like so, General Sorengale, which is Violet's mom, she has the power to control storms.
Hmm.
Like, which is that the weather in general, or is it just storms? Can she make it a beautiful sunny day?
I don't know. It seems
We
like
haven't
the
gotten
weather.
crazy detail
I feel
on
like
that
it's the
yet.
climate. Yeah, right. I feel like it's the climate is what it feels like because
Yeah.
she mentions how it's like it's warm in here all of a sudden. It's cold and now it's damp.
Mhm.
Like I feel like it's just like the general climate around. Um, but yeah, the so Violet's signet is lightning
Like,
wielding.
mhm.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because her mom wields storms? Like, do you
That's
think
what I
it's
was.
like
That's what I was
But
wondering. Because Mira's is like she can
she can extend the
amplify the
the
ward,
word.
which is which technically the wards are a natural phenomena that is because of the dragons, but it's also a magic thing. Like it's a magic that's in the ground and so on and so forth. That she can kind of push and amplify. So I feel like it's still an environmental thing. And I'm wondering
okay.
if
So you
it's
think
like
it's like
family, yeah, like family lines like have environmental stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I
like
It
I
mean,
could be.
there's not, I mean, well, then look at Brennan too, because Brennan's was mending. Because we hear it brought up all the time. You know, your brother was a fantastic mender, and there's only so few of them.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So I don't, I mean, it's mentioned that your signet is a reveal of your truest self.
Right.
So I see, like, I mean, I can't put in the input of General Sorengale, but Mira, like, her whole thing is by the time she went through and threshing and getting her signet, she had lost her dad and her brother. Her only thought, and we see it immediately in the book, is to protect her sister.
Mm.
So to extend a ward is to protect her sister. So, I mean, that's Mira's truest self, I think.
That's a really good point. I did not think of that.
it also makes me wonder, like with Brennan, like he's a mender, so yeah, and it's literally right when you just said it now. Like, oh well, he's mending the cause or like the rebellion. Like he's essentially like in that because we like at the end of the book we obviously know that he's there. But so I guess like maybe he's mending that, but I don't know. See, like I would have thought that he would have
Well,
tried harder with his family, like
well,
at
that
like
just
knowing he's
means
alive.
so Brennan would have been fighting in the rebellion.
That's why I like. There's so much stuff that we're
So
like.
he would have had his signet way before.
Hmm.
So I don't know if
Also,
I think this is something like that she probably like loosely is associating, right? I think Rebecca
mhm.
Yarros might just be like loosely saying, okay, well, here's like a little nod to your mom or a little this or that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which do we know how old Brennan is? Like, what's the age gap between the kids? I don't know why that just popped in my
Didn't
head.
she say like 7? or 10 years ago there was rebellion or something.
That's what I thought.
I feel like
I
he's
want to
like
say Brennan's like almost 30 or in his
and
And
she's
30s.
then
like 20.
Mira's in her 25, right? I think it says that she's
Yeah.
25, 24.
If
So
she goes in
yeah, so
19, yeah, Mira's got to be like mid 20s.
And Violet's 20 when she goes in.
She's
they
19,
have
I
to
thought.
be
Yeah.
so she and Brenna have like a 10-year age gap, really.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah. Ah, it's so good.
There's so much to like nitpick through the book, which theme? What was your favorite theme, Sam?
Favorite overall theme of the book. Um, my I think it's gotta be I think it has to be like what I was saying before with like strength isn't just physical strength.
Hmm.
I think and it's shown by, Violet overcoming a lot in the classes, Violet literally knowing that codex by heart and using it to her advantage, putting things together really quickly, putting together although surprisingly, she had the Book of Brennan the entire time and didn't exactly put together that Wyvern were real. Um, but figuring things out extremely fast, I think, is a huge advantage to her. So I love the theme of power isn't always physical strength, right? And then I love that Taryn chooses her because of who she is, because of her character, right? So it's not just about am I the biggest brute? Am I a Jack Barlow who will just kill the weakest, right? It's no, life is about caring about other people, and Violet is very much a protector in a lot of ways, and I love that. I love that theme. Yeah.
Yes.
Ash, do you have a favorite theme?
Climb a tree, guaranteed to get a hottie. In the words of Nick and his snitching on a G, I was like cracking up. I'm like, it's really, she just climbed a tree and bagged a hottie.
What was the other one? Zayden, you smooth mother trucker.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, so my husband is currently reading Fourth Wing. I stole the copy of the book to record today, and he just got to threshing. But so Zayden just swooping in and I think in that scene Zayden kind of was like telling Dane off and Nick was like, "Ooh, Zayden, so smooth." But Nick is also Nick's a Dane stand. Like he
He is.
loves Dane. He is a Dane stand. It's okay. He's trying to protect her. And I'm like, get out of here with that nonsense. But Keeks, do you have a favorite theme of the book?
I think the friendship bonds or bonding through trauma. I think that especially like when you are bonded through trauma like that they are, like they're afraid to make friendships, but the friendships that they are making are tight. Like her and
Hmm.
Rhiannon are tight. Her and
Hmm.
Liam were very tight, especially for her to take his death so personal. Like she was holding him and she dreams of him like that. Like that is, oh, does she dream? I think in my head's, I feel like she has a dream of him when she gets stabbed, right? Doesn't she? I don't know. Either way, oh no, she's reliving his death. That's what it is. Um, but no, for her to be so close to him like that, stop. Just because I don't remember the book properly, I'm remembering a dying scene instead of a happy scene. I'm sorry. Um, but no, I think it's the withstanding friendships. Um,
Hmm.
and to stay like because when they left Basgiath, I don't think the Rebellion Relics people were as on board with Violet, but when they returned, it's again bonding through trauma.
Hmm.
So the friendships definitely are the like a key theme for me.
Yeah,
So
I love it. Who would you cast? I don't have a list, but I know you have a list, Kayla.
I do have a list. And it's very hard not to almost duplicate the list from Divergent in a sense. Um, but so for General Soaringale, I can never remember her name, but she plays Olivia Benson on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Um,
Narishka Hargitay?
yes. She is who I she is who I pictured as Mama Sorrengail because
Oh
she
my
just
God.
is tall and she is a gorgeous woman. She just commands like your attention to her. But she's also like motherly. Like I don't know. I saw her and then oh, it's so hard to like kind of go back and forth. Zayden is probably my hardest one to cast, to be very honest, because again, I think of Theo from Divergent because he kind of matches the skin complexion and stuff like that, but he's not brawny enough. So it's like
Hmm.
you need to be bulkier, dude. Um,
We know what everybody really wants for like Violet and Dane and Taryn and Andona. Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill.
That's all I want for
Henry Cavill.
anyone. Henry
That's
Cavill.
all everybody wants is Henry.
That's hilarious.
yeah, that's actually it's funny that you say it because yeah. For Dane, the because he's got like scruff. So there's do you guys remember the movie for I Am Number Four or something like that with Alex Pedofield or
Yeah,
Pedal?
yeah, yeah.
So he's in the Ungentlemanly Warfare, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Did not realize it was him, but I was like, that is Dane. He is Dane. Like he just
Oh, see,
that's who
I
that's
do
who
you
I
remember
had
the
as Dane.
do you remember he was actually in Hunger Games, but I'm gonna shoot back when he was younger. Race to Witch Mountain, the
Josh
remake with The Rock.
Hutcherson.
No,
Josh
that is
Hutcherson.
not Race to Witch
Oh no.
Mountain. That
No,
is
you're
Journey
talking
to
about
the
the
Center of
guy.
the Earth.
Yes, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. He's the
He's
District 1
what?
guy. I talked
Yes,
about him earlier.
yes.
He
I
is
could see
Jack
him as a
Barlow.
Dane. No,
He's my
I see him
Jack
as
Barlow.
Dane. He's my Dane.
Though I have to say, if Jack Barlow was older, um, uh, was it Alex something who plays Reacher? Like I could just like, see
Oh,
him because he's
yeah.
huge, and I could just see him grab someone and yeet him off the parapet.
What
Yeah.
about the guy that plays Victor Crumb in Harry Potter? He could be a Jack Barlow type.
He could be a Zayden type.
He could be a Zayden type, but he's not hot
He's
enough.
got the bulk for it. I don't know. I've
He's
seen a
not
lot of
hot.
people cast him for Cassian, and I'm like,
He's Cassian. He is
he could
Cassian.
totally be Cassian. I could
What?
see him. He's not, I don't think he's broody enough.
When I read A Court of Thorns and Roses and or like the well, technically Miss Fair, all I saw for Cassian was freaking Jason Momoa in my head.
Oh my God,
But
Jason Momoa.
we're off casting. Um, but Rihanna, I still think Zoe Kravitz, just because she is kick ass. I think she's a great actress. But yeah, I struggle with Zayn.
Zayden.
The girl who was in, I'm trying to think of something else she was in. But the girl from Twister, the or Twisters, she played in Where the Crawdads Sing, which
Yeah.
she was
Mhm.
excellent in that. I mean, she literally was perfect because I read that book and she was like perfect description. I kind of could see her. She's probably too tall, but I could see her as a Violet soaring
I could
gal.
see her as a Mira.
I could see her. Who was that? Oh, you're not gonna like this one, Ash. But Brie Lawson or Lawrence or whatever
Arson.
Brie, yes,
Brie Larson.
who is Captain Marvel. Yes,
Hmm.
that is who I had as Mira.
Okay, I can
Just
see
like because
that.
I kind of see
I
that.
think I love her.
I
So
can see that. I can see that.
because she's like you could see her being soft with Violet, but you could see her being like what the and about to slap somebody also.
Hmm.
Um, And then like flashback dad scenes for Daddy Soaring Gal. That one was like I definitely did I lose y'all? There you go. The guy who plays Frank on Outlander. Do you know
You guys
who
are
he is?
wild. This is the
Oh,
most
yeah, I
wild
know
take
who
on
you're talking
That's
casting.
who I had.
This is the
about.
most wild take on casting
Yeah.
I
I've
wish I knew
ever
everyone's
seen.
names. Oh,
Yeah.
but those are like
So
who I pictured.
if you if you were like applying to Basgiath War College, what section would you be in? Would you be infantry scribe or would you be a rider? Ashley, go.
That's a hard one because I love reading and stuff. I feel like I'm pretty adventurous and fit by myself, but I also have a slight fear of heights. And it's like this silly, stupid height. It's like I'm fine hiking like a mountain at 10,000 feet, easy. But sitting in my mother's apartment on the 28th floor, I can't go by the window. So I don't know. Like, I would love the thought of flying on a dragon and being fearless, but at the same time, I feel like I might be more of a scribe, but maybe a scribe attached to a wing, where I
hmm
have the adventure side, but not necessarily the reckless side, I guess. I feel like you
Yeah.
do need to be a little reckless to be a dragon flyer. Or a writer.
Kayla. Yeah, yeah. Kayla, scribe, rider, infantry.
I'm for sure a writer. Like, I
Are
mean,
you kidding me? You're the
I
most
love
scribe I've
being
ever
there.
met.
Okay, Grandma
But
Dresser, stand up right now. Show us what you wear.
Show us your outfit.
doesn't
Okay,
matter what I
Draw
Grandma.
on
wear.
my butt.
Doesn't matter. I love.
Now she's all wrapped up.
I'm cold. It got cold in here. The sun disappeared. No, I'm definitely a writer. Like I am game to do. You want me to go do skiing or you want me to go jump out of an airplane? I am the first one to be like, let's go. Um, and I think the parapet sounds freaking awesome, to be honest.
I'm a,
So,
Damn, what are
s-
you?
I'm a scribe. As soon as
see,
someone tries to throw a punch at me, forget it. You try, if I, s- no, I don't want to
oh,
feel
I'm gonna
pain.
shank that person.
I want, you're
Gayla
so
chooses violence every day.
I will
violent
choose.
little thing.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'm a scribe. I want to be reading. I want to know about the world. I want to experience the world, but I don't want to get dead. Like as soon as someone comes trying to kill me, I'm like, all right, I'm not cut out for it. Someone
Yeah.
looks at me weird, I start crying. So that's that. So that's that. Um, okay, what's on the docket for next time?
Iron Flame.
Yes. We're gonna rush through like we did this past time on the book. And we're going to cover Iron Flame in preparation for Onyx Storm. So we will be going fast, flying fast and going hard at it to get it out.
Just like
So
That's
Zayden
what
and
she
Violet.
said.
yeah.
Just like Zayden and Violet.
Yep.
I love how Sam and I both went to the
If
same
you
exact spot.
Yeah, I knew you all would. And if you all need, we will give you a saddle. So that's that
Oh my.
It's only getting
dragon.
worse.
Okay, Grandma.
It's only getting worse.
On the dragon because Violet has a
Just
saddle
stop
to ride
talking.
carried.
Just
You
stop
bad
talking.
people. You are
Kayla.
horrible. I was talking about I will get because if you can't hold on to the dragon, I will get you a
Sam,
saddle.
she is straight up a scribe with this innocent little brain of hers and every little mark.
No, it's
Kayla, I have one question for you. Shall I get the wing leader?
I would prefer the second, his right hand man, please.
Garrick?
I want
Liam?
Liam.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, my husband will be cast as Liam because the sandy blonde hair, and just the jokes and the way, like I was like, oh my God, this is Dan. I was like, I'm good with that. Oh,
So
oh,
Iron Flame next, and
what is
then
what is y'all's ratings for this book?
Yes. On a scale of what?
Let's do 1 to 10. Let's do a 1 to 10. Are you having
uh,
a sad face, smiley face, or really happy face?
so
I'll give it an, oh, it's so hard. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 because I feel like the plot was there. It was fast paced. It was really rolling. Um, you can easily immerse yourself in the world really easily. I love the banter between Taryn and Darna and Violet. What did I not love about it? I just like don't love like there's some I just don't love that we have to like murder everyone to get there. And we'll probably talk about that more next time too in the next book.
Yeah.
Um and then there were a couple parts where I'm just like, why do we have to keep this secret right now? Like it just got like frustrated me a little bit. Um, what about you all? What are your ratings?
I don't have a rating for it yet. And I did it the same thing with Akatar, is not rating one book because I feel like if
I
you're
am
doing a
making you
series,
rate.
it's wrong to rate one book out of a series because you're still telling a story, right?
As an
So
introduction to the series, though, can you give a rating for that?
I'm terrible. Like, because I judge not one, I judge the series, not the book. So
Peaks?
I'm probably around an 8 with you or a 7. I thought it was good. I think she writes very well. She does write it like it, and again, I get it. This was actually Dan's kind of point with it too, that they talk like what they think 20-year-olds are talking like. And so it's kind of like it breaks the fantasy realm of some of how it is, but I also felt like some of it was a little predictable. But I also loved it because it's a great, like, I mean, I would pick this over Divergent and all of that for sure. Um, and I love I like all the stuff that really didn't introduce. Like I had a little bit of like the Aragon thing where Violet can talk to her dragon, but I for sure did not see that Xaden and Sigale could talk to her too. So that part I was like, oh my God, I love the internal monologue. I was like, I wish someone could read my thoughts sometimes. This way I did not have to like I don't have to talk to other people about like this way you can have secret mind game kind of thing. Um so I liked that a lot. And the killing, I never quite understood why everyone had to, like, all these people had to die. I feel like that was a waste of potential in other units. And they're like weeding out the weak, but you're not weeding out the weak, you're just weeding out potential. So I like that's why it's getting a 7, 8 for me.
All right. What about spice? Let's rate the spice. 1 to 5 star spicy. Ash, you start. I know you have a rating for spice.
like a 2.5, 3 space.
Kayla, what's your spice rating?
I think it's a solid 3.5, 4.
My spice rating, it's a 2. It's a 2 on spice. It's a 2 on spice. That's all we'll say. Don't let your dragons overpower your necessities. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Next week, we will be talking about Iron Flame. Yes,
Yep.
whole
Mm-hmm.
book. We're excited to talk about it. That one's a little more fresh. So if you have hot takes on Iron Flame, let us know. We can include them. And until next time,
A dragon
keep
without
reading.
its rider is a tragedy. A rider without its dragon is dead.